Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming at you with another episode of the Pokemon Babblers podcast, and I'm joined with my co-host Bano and I.
Hey guys.
And so for this episode, we are going to be talking about the Generation 7 games. Those were Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. We're also going to be talking about the updated versions, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which came out a year later. These were all released on the Nintendo 3DS. But actually, before we get started, Bono, I actually have something to show you.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
this is interesting.
So, as we've seen before, this is more for like the boys kind of thing. So we have a friend that's joined our Discord. His name's MrJoelyOly, who's we have found recently that he is an artist, and
Oh
he made a
no.
great art of Lechonk. I'll show
Oh
that on the screen.
no.
So as soon as I found out, I asked him, "Hey, could you make some artwork for the channel for me? Could you possibly make a thumbnail for Babblers?" So I haven't
Oh,
shown anybody this. So I wanted to show you right now,
world premiere.
live reveal of the Babblers thumbnail. 3, 2, 1. It-
Nice.
yeah. So
It's very nice.
yeah, I asked him be like, "Hey, just something with us in front of some microphones, do whatever else you want." So, yeah, there's
Did
some
you did you tell him to about the Nintendo sweater, or did he do that
yeah,
on his
I
own?
told him that. I
Okay,
told him
okay.
that. Yeah,
I was
because
just
it's
saying,
like that's
he's a super fan. If he really he really just drew that on his own.
right? Also, they have the cards all over that Charizard.
Mhm.
Also,
Mhm.
there's Bunky in the back, the Magikarp for Magikarp March.
That's
Those I did not tell him. I did not tell him. The only thing I told him is the 64 hoodie. That's it.
that
But
is amazing.
yeah, so I'm very happy about that. Shout out to Joel, MrJoelyOly. Go follow him on all of his socials, Twitch and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. He's a legend. But
Amazing.
yeah,
Legend.
yeah,
Legend.
legend. Listen, right? He's a legend.
Shout out.
Yeah, cheers. Okay, so Sun and Moon.
Right.
So these games were revealed to us on Pokemon Day in 2016, which was February 26th, and they were
Mm.
released November 18th of 2016.
Mm.
And so there were 81 new Pokemon that were shown, and there are also different variant of Pokemon that we could talk about either later on or right now, however you want to go about
I'd
that.
say save that towards the end.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later on. But this is also the first generation with regional variants. So
Right.
they have Pokemon that, well, we've seen them in other generations, like in the Kanto
Yeah, we
region
talked
and all
about them in
that.
other games like Sword and
Yeah,
Shield, but this
yeah.
is the game where they first came out, and it really threw everybody for a loop because I can't remember, were they part of the original reveal?
I don't recall actually. I
I
don't
don't think
think they
so.
were.
I think that
No.
was like in a later trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the original reveal, I like barely remember it, but I
Yeah.
do remember feeling like a little bit bummed that we weren't getting gyms in the sense that we've always had them.
Yeah.
And on an initial watch through of it, and they were talking about like the island challenge and whatnot, I was like, oh, okay, well, we're not getting completely screwed out of gyms. But then that didn't end up being the case. But on initial reveal, the legendaries at first I was kind of like, they're just like meh. I think like Solgaleo is probably my favorite over Lunala.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to agree on that one too. Yeah, I did like so was it Solgaleo or Solgaleo? Because I used to call it
I just been
Solgaleo,
calling it Solgaleo.
and then I saw the end of it was like Leo, like lion, so I started calling it Solgaleo, and I can't get myself out of that talking habit.
Hmm.
But I did like that one over Lunala. I mean, I like the
Lunala,
typing of both of them. I thought they were both really cool. But
right? I think
yeah, the lion is way cooler.
Solgaleo is Psychic Steel, and then
Yeah,
Lunala is
Psychic Ghost.
Dark Psychic Ghost.
Psychic
Okay.
Ghost, correct. Yep, and yeah, they as Bono was mentioning, they got rid of gyms in the traditional sense. They so basically this region, the Alola region, is divided into 4 different islands, and
Hmm.
so with those, there's different challenges on there, and there are essentially like gym leaders. They're called the Island Kahunas. And so they're the head honchos of each island. So you have to go through these different challenges and battle strong trainers, and then at the end of it, you'll battle the Kahunas to get your, like they're not even gym badges. They're like stamps on your passport.
Hmm.
So it kind of changed it up a little bit. I mean, after you really think about it, it kind of ends up being the same. But
Right.
it showed that they had an idea that they wanted to change some stuff, at least that they wanted to
Right.
switch up the formula a little bit instead of the traditional 8 gyms, elite four, champion, you're good.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, is it, were they sacrificing the gym challenge for better interactions with the Kahunas in the island challenge? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's somewhat comes through because, like, we say island challenge, and what does that mean? It means like you go through the island, each island, and you do little, not mini games or stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, but you just like go through. Like, I believe the first island challenge is in the verdant cave, and what you're trying to look for is like go to like all the little dugouts and find what the dig is, like I think it's young goose,
Yeah.
and
Young
then
Goose or Rattata.
yeah, young goose or Rattata, and it's just like like you're playing like hide and seek with them, and then at the end of it you fight a totem Pokemon for what is your badge, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, for this game, which is the Z crystals, because that's a
Mm-hmm.
new thing they introduced with the Z moves, but we'll
Yeah.
get to that later.
Yeah, because the totem Pokemon are basically they're like a standard
Broken.
Pokemon, but they're broken. They're
Broken.
just oversized Pokemon, not as big as like a Gigantamax Pokemon.
Or an alpha.
Yeah, so they're physically a little bit bigger, and they have Omni boosts on them. So there's all their
Right.
stats get boosted, and they're just ridiculously broken. And so you got to use your team to take down the totem Pokemon.
Not to mention they turn each battle into a double battle.
Mm-hmm.
They
Exactly.
continuously, which is also like a hint to the S.O.S mechanic, which we'll get to later as well.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the reveal, what were your first impressions of, like, it being an island, there being no gyms, the starters, and is just like your player character in general?
I don't think I was upset, honestly. I think I kind of just rolled with it. I think,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that's just me right now with the nostalgia goggles because I can't remember entirely, but I feel like I was happy that they're trying to change it up. But I don't think I was like screeching like, "Oh my god, it's the new thing! Oh whoa!" I was
Hmm.
just more like, "Oh, it's cool that they're changing up a little bit finally after being stagnant for so long."
Hmm.
But yeah, I can't think of having any negative thoughts in hindsight about it. But how'd you feel about it?
I mean, it's always tough because originally I'm a big sucker for tradition, so I was like,
Mhm.
oh man, I'm missing out my 8 gyms. I feel like they could have made it work too
Yeah.
if they had done it, but we got what we got.
Hmm.
But I wasn't too upset with the region. I really like the Alola region. I really like that they went for somewhere more exotic than, well, I mean, what was it? France, and before that was New York, and now we have
And then we were in England
Alola.
for Galar, but yeah, now we're like in
Yeah.
Hawaii essentially,
Now
or
we're in
tropics.
Hawaii, the third U.S. region to
Hmm.
be made. We got
Yeah.
Unova, Ore, and Alola.
Hmm.
Go Team USA.
Oh my gosh.
Um, Starters though, initially I like I said, I've said it before. I love all the first form starters,
Hmm.
and was really apprehensive as to what they turn into. I think my favorite at the outset was probably Rowlet,
Yep, I have to agree. Yeah. So
and
yeah,
then Litten behind that, and then Poplio, you know, coming up the rear.
yeah. Uh, so for me, I mean, I have to agree. Rowlet was definitely my favorite of the three. I
Hmm.
would have to say Poplio was right after that, and then Litten was after that. I don't know that
Hmm.
like Litten didn't do much for me initially, just because it's just a
It's
cat.
just a cat.
It's
Yeah,
just a
I
cat.
get it.
But I feel like that there was potential for those two, but for me, Rowlet was like it was the cutest one. I feel like that I've definitely been won over by grass types since
Hmm.
Generation 5.
Hmm.
Like it almost seems like every time I've been going for grass types initially. But yeah, and then I was also just like curious on what they would do. I mean, it seemed almost obvious that they were going to do a grass flying for Rowlet, but listen, right? Listen, they didn't. They didn't.
Right.
So the final stages were Decidueye, which was a grass ghost type out of all
Hmm.
things. Who would have thought that? That was the plot twist of the century.
Hmm.
Then they had what was it? Incineroar, which is fire dark, and then they had Primarina, which is a water fairy, which is
Right.
really cool typing. Like those were both of those were cool typing. I mean, granted we had Houndoom as a fire dark beforehand, but
Right.
water fairy was very unique. And it
Right.
still is unique too, right?
Right.
Or no,
Water
Tapu Fini, I think is
Tapu Fini is Water Fairy, and then Azumarill became Water Fairy.
right. Yeah, so
Right.
I thought that those were pretty cool, but I think at the end of it, I still like the design of Decidueye the most, and
Hmm.
I never used Litten to Incineroar.
Right. For me, it's like I like Decidueye is okay. Incineroar, I don't know. I don't understand why they anthropomorphize fire types like all the time. It's whatever. For Primarina, I feel like that. Politics aside, I feel like if they were going for that, Primarina probably should have just been a female only line. That
Mm.
would have been like a because they're really playing on that mermaid aspect. But at the same time, it's like
Merman!
merman. But it's also like that would have been like really unique for like the first starter ever to be female only.
That would be interesting to to change it up like that. Thinking about it, yeah.
Right. So yeah, that for me that's just it. But I enjoyed all the designs. I enjoyed them all. I don't think I ever like used any of them to like completion though,
Hmm.
just because I have that much love for like their beginning forms.
Yeah. Decidueye wasn't that great. It was slow.
Oh,
It
was
was
it?
slower than I thought it would be. Like
Mm,
typing was cool. Grass Ghost was very cool, but yeah, if I wanted a Grass Ghost type on my team, I'd just pick Trevenant again. But
mm,
yeah, Decidueye was slow. Its moveset was okay. I wasn't a swoon by it using it. I mean, I kept it on my team because again, I never get rid of my starters. But
mm,
Primarina, I used it on one of the other games, and that one I felt like was a lot better just in regular day to day usage. But
mm.
I don't have any opinion on Incineroar because I never used it.
Going through the game, you start off. Actually, this game starts off pretty funny because you
Mhm.
actually start talking to Professor. Was it
Kukui,
Kukui? Kukui.
Kukui, yeah,
Kukui, talking to you from your house, which is presumably Kanto, because that's where you come from,
yeah,
having like an online call,
yeah.
and then you're just like, hey, I'm coming to the Olo region. He's all like, oh, and then he says cousin, so I
Mhm.
can't really tell like if he's saying like, hey, bro, or like, hey, my cousin,
Your
like
cousin.
like like where you're not actually related, but he just says it,
I think
which would
that's
be pretty
probably the
cool if
case.
he does mean it,
I mean, I don't think that they're gonna go too much into the
right?
lore of why you're going to the Alola region from
I
Kanto. Like, are
mean,
you being
hey,
exiled?
you got a dad, right?
Is your mom related to Kukui in some way?
I think
Uh,
the game I would have
yeah,
benefited from
but
something like
yeah,
that,
they would have
even if it was
benefited.
just a throwaway line.
Exactly, it would have benefited, but I don't think that they care enough to really open that canon. But
Right.
yeah,
But
I feel like
anyway,
at least in I think it just be more in the brotherly sense of, hey cousin, welcome to Alola, hit me
welcome
up,
to the
bro.
Lola.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then they throw Bunky in your face because that's
Bunky,
yeah,
Bunky,
he's running around
Bunky.
there. But anyway, we transition from your video call with Professor
Yeah.
Kukui to a little snippet about the Aether Foundation. I think that's true in both
Mhm.
versions
Yeah.
of the game. They just switch out a couple one thing in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Mhm.
But then you see the Aether Foundation, and then Lily get in the bag, and then it transitions to the mystery for this game, which has to do with Ultra Wormholes.
Mhm.
And then it just, boom, title card, Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon.
Yeah. Because I can't remember how the base game goes at all anymore. I could remember Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because I played those more because they're so close in terms of just your just normal adventure and everything like that. There's some
Mhm.
small things that were different, but I can't remember how if there was much difference on Sun and Moon
There's
to
not.
Ultra.
It's
Yeah.
mostly the same. Instead of
Mhm.
traveling, using Mantine Surf between islands, there's like story beats where you have to use Professor Kukui's boat,
Right. Right.
and there's like a little bit more character time with Lily,
Mhm. And
that
Cosmog.
bitch, and Cosmog.
Yeah,
But
aka
yeah,
Medli.
anyway,
Yeah.
you get to the island, you get introduced to the people, and then you get your Pokemon, and then you get introduced to the island challenge, and you get a Pokedex,
Yeah.
and then from there you just proceed to go on the island challenge throughout all the islands, encountering the total Pokemon and everything they has to offer.
Mhm.
And there's 81 new Pokemon introduced. I don't know if that's counting all of them in just Sun and Moon, or that's counting both Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
I don't recall when I was doing my research, to be honest with you.
What did you think of the Pokemon they introduced for? this generation. I feel like they nailed it in the terms of like Pokemon that would actually exist on the Hawaiian Islands.
I think they might have done okay with the Pokemon in Sun and
Oh,
Moon.
they might. Yeah, okay.
They might have done okay, I guess. No, I did like the Generation 7 Pokemon. I feel like that Gen 7, because it's the second game of Pokemon, or second generation on the 3DS,
Hmm.
and I feel like that this one knocked it out of the park, especially compared to X and Y, which were just the most mid of the mid games.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think they did well. I don't think that every single Pokemon in this generation was a hit, but I mean the ones that did hit, like they hit well. Like they did
Hmm.
really well with a lot of the designs in this one. And also the Ultra Beasts, I thought overall were pretty cool. I mean, yeah, there were a couple of them that were stinkers, but I mean, you can't win them all. Like not every generation's perfect.
Right,
But
and
yeah.
that's a point I want to get to later with the Ultra Beasts because I
Hmm.
feel it's like I've said it before in a previous episode where I was like they should have followed up on the Deoxys thing of Pokemon from space, and then
Right.
Ultra Beasts kind of are that thing. But I feel like, unfortunately, it's just gonna be relegated to Gen 7. It's like
Yeah.
Mega Evolutions. It's gonna be in one game and then,
Yeah.
forgotten.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going to be going with that because I remember you mentioning that. I was like, I really want to talk about Deoxys.
Right?
Yeah. So,
But
yeah, that does make sense though of like how they could be related, and I'm surprised that they never tied in Deoxys to Sun and Moon. But then again,
mhm,
they did have the Delta episode in the previous generation, so
right.
I guess I could see that they don't want to oversaturate Deoxys. But Deoxys is such a cool concept and a cool Pokemon that like any kind of info about it, I am all over. Yeah.
And so you travel through the region, you do your small island challenges, you encounter your totem Pokemon which are broken, and then you also are collecting Z crystals which have to do with the new mechanic for battle at least in this generation, which are called Z moves, which themselves are broken as well.
Hmm.
I mean, you do only get the one per battle, kind of like Mega Evolutions,
Yeah.
but it's almost guaranteed unless you like quad resist, it's almost guaranteed to be a one hit KO,
Hmm.
which I've never enjoyed the regular one hit KO moves at
Yeah.
all, like Fissure and Sheer Cold.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of a miss. I don't know. What did you think?
I mean, I just use them because it's part of the gimmick. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play the game as they intend that I should. But I didn't play it in the traditional sense where you don't use all of those. But I can't say that I'm perfect on that. But had they not have them, I'd probably be cool with it. If they delve more into Mega Evolutions, then I probably would have been a lot happier. I don't know. I feel like that out of the gimmicks in the past three generations, when we're talking about Mega Evolutions, Z Crystals, and Dynamaxing,
Dynamax.
I feel like that Z Crystals were probably the weakest of the three. I feel like I'd
Right.
have to rank it like Z Crystals at the lowest, and then Dynamaxing, and then Mega Evolutions.
Right, because you are kind of like Mega Evolutions. You are sacrificing an item slot for the Z Crystal,
Mm-hmm.
which is great and all, but you have to compare it to what you're losing when you do Mega Evolution. Because sure, you get like a guaranteed one hit KO,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not getting like the beneficial stats of Mega Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That
when it comes
design
to
change too.
when it comes to Dynamax and Gigantamax too, you're getting the best of both worlds. Which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like if they wanted to have a gimmick, they kind of just like they're like, oh, just put them together,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we got Dynamax and Gigantamaxing. And it's
Yeah.
almost like, well, did we even really need the gimmick in the first
Mhm.
place?
Yeah, but it was nice so that you didn't have to have a certain item to Dynamax or Gigantamax, so you didn't
Right.
waste that hold item slot. So I guess
Well,
you get a little more. I mean, I wouldn't say
we didn't go
competitive.
into that.
Yeah, we
We didn't go
didn't.
into the Sword and Shield, the Sword and Shield episode, but that is kind of what led to people not liking it, at least in the
Mhm.
competitive scene, because it did end up being broken.
Yeah.
Because you could essentially have a Pokemon that was with the choice item, like
Hmm.
choice specs, whatever,
Hmm.
and then you could Dynamax, get those 3 turns of Dynamaxing, and then once you go back to your original form, you could switch your move. You weren't locked into that move you were in
Hmm.
before.
Right.
So people were like, hold on, hold on, hold on. I could do a fucking choice specs Hyper Beam Porygon Z
Hmm.
Dynamax, get 3 Z moves in a row, and then go back and then switch do something
Jesus.
else with choice specs.
Jeez.
So that's why people were like, okay, maybe we should have sacrificed the item slot
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing.
Right. Right. That's true. That's very true. But.
But back to Z crystals, there's one for each type.
Mhm.
It has a special little animation. Both you, the Pokemon, and the trainer do like their own little cool moves. And there are specific Z crystals for specific Pokemon, which I kind of feel like they wanted to dive into a little bit more, but once Sun and Moon was over, they just, abandoned it.
Yeah.
Because some of the special ones, I'm thinking there's one for Mew, there's one for Pikachu,
One for Eevee.
there's one for Eevee, there's one for Snorlax, there's one for each of the starters as well.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite probably is the Snorlax one where it's like running and then it jumps.
Oh, load, he coming.
Yeah, it just smashes into you.
Yeah.
The Pikachu one, the 100,000 volts, whatever, is like a shout out to the anime.
Yeah, and also one thing we haven't mentioned when it comes to like the new Pokemon or like new forms or anything,
Hmm.
they had one that was only accessible through the Sun and Moon demo. Weirdly
Mm.
enough, which if you play the demo, you get access to a variation of Greninja that was from the anime, the Ash Greninja. Was so weird that they have you do that. I mean, I guess it is incentive to download from the eShop and
Right.
play the demo and whatnot.
Right.
To yeah,
PSA eShop is going down sometime soon. I think
yeah,
next year.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's going
download
down.
the demo right now if you want. If you don't have it already to get
Yeah.
Ash Greninja.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much the only way at this point, unless you go through other means. Let's say.
I don't even think I have it anymore. I'm not missing
I
it.
really don't know if I have it. Did they even allow you to transfer it through Pokemon Bank to Pokemon
I
Home?
believe so. Yeah.
Did they? Okay, yeah, because
Well, I mean,
I
yeah,
can't
they just
remember.
put it on the demo for no reason.
Yeah, I can't recall what they did on that one. So
But yeah, that
yeah.
was that was a little bit weird. We did get a demo for this game. I don't think we've gotten another demo for a main series game since. But
One.
yeah, it lets you play around. I believe it was on the first island, Melemele Island.
Uh-huh. That's
Or
that's
no,
correct.
we did get it. What
Wait.
there was a demo for Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, wasn't there?
Oh, there was a demo for that. Did they give you anything though?
I think that's where you got Ash Greninja, and
Was
then
it?
in the Sun and Moon demo, you get the Dusk Lycanroc. No.
No, Dust Lycanroc I think was you get that as a mystery gift. You get the Rockruff with Own
You could
Tempo.
add an addendum because I can't remember, but I know
Yeah.
that there was a demo for both of them.
Right, right. I'll add an addendum on there.
Yeah, you get to play around Melee Island. Sad that we didn't get one for Sword and Shield. At least we could have seen what
Yeah.
the writing on the wall before that came out.
Right. Oh
But
man.
yeah, so you get you're collecting your Z crystals, which are essentially your badges in this because it does count on your little trainer or your trainer passport, not your
Yeah.
trainer card.
Yeah, it's a passport this time around. So they just stamp your
Passport,
passport.
when they ask you where your papers are, you just flat, here you go, I got them right here.
Exactly. Papers, please.
Papers, please. And they're like, oh, you have 10 Z crystals, huh? And you're like, yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
Go back to Kanto, loser.
Yeah. So, you move throughout the game and you encounter the evil team of this generation, evil quote unquote. At least the first one is
Team
Team Skull,
Skull.
which your boy Guzma.
Guzma. Yeah, so this time around with enemy team that yeah, so
Yeah.
so they definitely went more camp with it on Generation 6 with Team Flare, but with
Mm,
this one like there was like some self-awareness but they're still the bad guys. These ones were like they're way more delving into the camp part of it. I mean, they kind of had a semblance of badness to them, like you did have to deal with them at one point,
mhm.
but they weren't like the true like evil bad guys of this generation. I feel like that they
Yeah.
kind of were like they're like a pawn in the Aether Foundation scheme.
I mean, eventually, yeah, they were, but
Mm-hmm.
like, just Team Skull on its own was just kind of, I don't know. For me, it was really weak. I
Yeah,
just didn't enjoy the, yeah, I enjoyed their gimmick. I love like their stupid walk.
yeah,
Everything they said and did was like super
it's
gimmicky and dumb, but
hilarious.
I couldn't hate them for it just because it was such a blatant, obvious like
Yeah.
what they were doing.
I probably out of the previous few generations, they're probably one of my favorite like evil teams. At least it's my favorite one since I would even say like Generation 3, just because of how ridiculous and stupid it was. Also the
All right.
music that they had for it, like the remix, like DJ
Hmm.
turntable scratching and stuff. I thought that was great. Like it
Right.
was just fun.
Right. And then even though they were like weak and I say weak and like just like gimmicky, their story is kind of like sad,
Hmm.
especially when you get to like their home base of Po Town where it's just like constantly raining.
Yeah, it's just miserable,
Right.
slum like, and
Yeah, slum dogs.
yeah, it's Skulldog Millionaire.
Skulldog Millionaire, yeah,
Yep.
and their leadership with what's it? It's not Paulina. What's her name? Plumerina or
Plumeria.
Plumeria? Yeah.
Yeah.
Plumeria with her like super spray on tan,
Mm-hmm.
and your boy Guzma.
He's a legend. He's the king right there.
Honestly, yeah,
And it's
Guzma's
Belithopod
story.
too.
Yeah, Guzma's story is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll go into much of that, but yeah, like he's definitely he. I think he at some point true Pokemon fashion, you have to like search through a bunch of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure Guzma is a victim of I don't know if it's child
Victim of
abuse.
circumstance.
No,
Yeah.
he was definitely abused because if you go to like his house or not his parents' house in the game, you can go to like a set of golf clubs and you can see that
Mm-hmm.
they're all bent and you're left to assume that his
Oh.
dad beat him with a golf club.
Oh God. I what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Sun and Moon kids.
oh God, I did not notice or think about it. I didn't see the signs. I didn't see the writing on the wall,
You didn't
man.
see the how dare you?
I did.
How dare you?
I should have called Child Protective Services.
I mean, he's like a grown ass man, and we don't
Yeah.
know exactly when. But yeah, you could see like in his room, like his house.
What if he's
There's like
beating his subordinates?
I doubt
What
it.
if he's the abuser? Cancel
Uh,
Guzma. Hashtag
cancel
cancel
Guzma.
Guzma. uh,
This stream's over. Okay.
yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, the story with Guzma's a little bit sad,
Yeah.
but ultimately, he serves a purpose as just being a cog in the machine, will
Hmm.
ya?
Exactly. It was a pawn in their
They
plan.
they never do anything super evil aside from like kidnapping a Pokemon, which you get back within
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
a couple hours.
Right. Exactly. They stole the. Oh gosh, what did they steal again? It
They stole
was
like a young goose.
right. It was Young Goose, and then didn't they make it evolve or something like that?
No, they didn't do that. They
Hmm.
just stole it to steal it.
Oh, gotcha. Just one Young Goose, one young slime.
One young slime.
Hmm.
Another thing where we skipped over, at least is because we jumped to the T Skull thing, was the
Hmm.
battle royale
Yeah, yeah. One of the
with
cities you get the battle
which
royale.
I think is just a miss in terms of like a side thing.
Hmm.
It's a four-way one-on-one battle that gives you battle points, but it's like what you can do it against NPCs and then you can also do it against your friends.
Hmm.
And maybe I don't have three good friends to play this game with, and maybe I'm missing out on it. But I just don't understand like what's the appeal or attraction of a four-way 1v1 battle.
Yeah, it just doesn't like maybe as like a one-time gimmick thing. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool, I guess. But they tried to put so much emphasis on it. Like
Right? They
it.
even they gave a special character called the Masked Royale.
Hmm.
They even make it like mandatory to go and do at least one.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
like
it's just and even after doing that one, I was just like I have no drive to come back here.
right. I feel that. It's there's just something of
It's like
it.
Pokestar Studios all over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
They make you do it.
it's just a forced gimmick, and they, yeah, like you said, they make you go through it, and nobody's really gonna do that unless you're like a little kid. I mean, you're such a little
Mhm.
kid.
There's a little kid.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't picture myself ever using the battle
Oh,
royale.
speaking of picture, yeah, I mean, I don't,
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't go back. So yeah, I don't know. I'd skip over it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
speaking of picture, we didn't talk about it. We did say the Pokedex, but we didn't talk about the fact that the Pokedex is alive in this
It's
game.
possessed.
It's possessed
It's
by
possessed by a
Rotom,
Rotom. This is the first generation where they have a possessed Pokedex,
right?
and so they have the
And it's
Rotom kind of like your.
insufferable,
It is annoying. It's basically like Navi in this game.
right?
It just tries to take over and guide you and like tell you like, "Oh, do this, do that." It's like I know how to play Pokemon. I know what to do. Stop like trying to force all that shit down my throat.
Right.
But
It's something they definitely learned because your Rotom Dex and Sword and Shield doesn't
mhm.
talk.
Yeah, thank
But in
goodness.
this one, they try to make it like a companion and
Hmm.
make it like, friendly reminder, be like, hey, this is where you're supposed to go if you
Hmm.
get lost, or hey, you've been playing for a while, you should probably save
Like
and
no,
stuff like that.
I don't think I will.
And then to entice you to like it even more, they made it so that you can get like certain power ups, kind of like how the O powers worked in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and X and
Hmm.
Y, you get like catching power, or hatching power, or XP, or more money,
Hmm.
stuff like that. But ultimately, after you play for a while, it just becomes annoying.
I forget. Did they give you like a shiny power or no?
No.
That'd be kind of cool, but I feel like that'd break it.
Yeah. So it just it serves as your companion throughout the game. I mean, other than like it's relegated to the touchscreen, but
Hmm.
it does I don't think it comes out more than a couple times after you actually get it and get off of Melee Island. Between that and like the crux story of Sun and Moon, I don't believe there's anything like super interesting. I mean, you do
Yeah.
meet Colress again, but he really serves
Yeah.
as like just as like a cameo.
Hmm.
They do introduce the much like how we were talking about before, how they were talking about we were talking about Eternatus.
Hmm.
They did give Zygarde a special treatment in this game,
Yeah, it's like a post initial generation treatment,
right?
which was weird. Like they only showed it as its, I guess, is its 50% form in X and Y,
Right,
but in Generation 7 they were like, nope, that's just the midway point. But there's a complete form, there's a 10% form, there's different
right.
pieces to Zygarde, which are called cores. And so throughout the Alola region, that you have to find these cores. There's like 100 of them, and
Hmm.
you put them into this device to create a Zygarde, basically. And
Hmm.
so to make it complete, you have to have all 100 of them, and that Zygarde is just ridiculously just jacked. It's yoked. It
Well, I
looks like a.
believe I believe what you do is you collect all the Zygarde cells,
Mm-hmm.
and then that makes you a 50% Zygarde,
Mm-hmm.
and then you actually have to go to believe it's the last island and catch the other 50% Zygarde that's there, and it's much in
Oh,
the same style how
right.
it's in an X and Y where the cave is like an X,
Mm-hmm.
and you catch that one, and then once you have that, you go back to the little trailer where they have the Zygarde research, and you can combine those two to get the Zygarde 100% form.
Right, right, right. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's weird is that you can get like the 10% one and then have the 50% one. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why they did the 10%. I feel like if they were gonna do something like that, they should have like introduced like
A 0%, which I mean the cell, I guess, but.
what's the cell, but like I mean like have like go catch like the 10%, like it being a
Mm-hmm.
roaming Pokemon or something like
Yeah,
that.
because
Like
that thing looks
five,
like it's
yeah,
fast as hell.
like five of them be like roaming Pokemon or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and like
Yeah.
like oh hey, we're like trying to research this brand new Pokemon, and then they that research culminates in like holy crap, this is Zygarde, the
Mm-hmm.
legendary Pokemon from
Yeah,
Kalos.
the
I mean,
rejected character from Ben 10.
yeah, that's giving them way too much credit. But they did try their best to be like holy crap, we forgot about Zygarde
Yeah, yeah. They.
and give it some treatment here,
I'm
but
guessing that they probably made Zygarde as an afterthought in X and Y. They're like, oh yeah, we have this idea, but we have to have the game released and put out and
mhm,
everything. So
all
yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I'm happy for it. It's got, three different forms. Its complete
Mm-hmm.
form is absolutely broken.
Yeah,
Just try fighting it in the Dynamax Adventures.
that thing
I
is
think
freaking brutal.
I think we've beat it once.
I think so. Yeah, like you
And we
have to have like the perfect team, and
You
you have to
have
be
to have an
just so
ice type,
lucky.
and you have to have something with quick guard.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. And so also another gimmick that they threw in here was the Pokepelago,
Which is
which
actually
yeah.
the most beneficial one, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of unique on how it worked too, because you go into your menu and there's an option to go straight into it, and so you can put certain Pokemon on this island like a Pelago, and there are beans that just show up when there's a tree on the island, and you click on the tree and it shakes off all these beans, which you collect these beans,
Yeah,
and
Pokemon eat beans confirmed.
yeah, I mean, don't we all? um, yeah, that helps with the friendship of the Pokemon, not like the happiness, but the friendship.
Mhm.
And
It uses Pokemon from your PC.
right, exactly. And also you could encounter like you could have Pokemon, like random Pokemon, just show up and join you or like be joined on your team and in your party.
They could be like attracted to your
Hmm.
island, and
Yeah.
then once they spend a certain time there, you can
Hmm.
have the option to let them join your team.
Yeah.
Those also can be shiny. It's very rare, but they
Hmm.
can be.
Yeah.
I thought it was neat because it gives your Pokemon on the PC something to do.
Right, exactly, instead of just collecting dust.
And I think they tried to follow that with like Pokemon Jobs in
Hmm.
Sword and Shield, but I
Right.
feel like the Pelago did it so much better.
They did actually, like they definitely did, and also they had other options to expand your island. There are other
Right.
features of it, and other than just getting the beans, there was a
And that was
Mhm.
dependent on how many Pokemon you have in your PC.
Yeah,
And I think that's a nice little thing because it encourages you to try to like on
catch.
one hand catch Pokemon, but on the other hand it's like you could also just like try to complete your Pokedex.
Right, exactly. So it was something I feel like that got overlooked, but it was one of the few like side features that I actually used. Like I didn't really do hyper training or anything like that, but yeah, the Pelago I definitely used. I definitely sunk some time into the
Right.
Pelago.
You can collect your beans, you can grow berries, you can collect like money items like nuggets and fossils,
Right.
star pieces and whatnot. You could do the EV training. That was time based, so it's dependent on how long they spend in there. And then my favorite aspect of it is you can hatch eggs
Mm-hmm.
in the spa area, which also served as like a friendship area. But if you were doing friendship, it's much. You think it would be a lot, unless you like just want to like do it because in order for it to work, you can't just put something in there and then shut the game off. The game still has to be on,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and so that's how it counts as time passes.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did for it, at least for the egg one, is I would do like the Masuda method. I would get a foreign Ditto and a Pokemon. I would get, I think it's 18 because it's six in each slot. 18 eggs, put them in there, close the
Mm-hmm.
DS, put it on a charger, open it the next day, and then just tap tap tap, and then eventually you'll get a shiny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good method. I mean, I remember I hatched a shiny Litwick, not by the Palago, by just a standard means, because in
Hmm.
front of the nursery there was a little small enclosure where actually actually I was gonna be reeling it back a little bit. This is the first generation with the ride Pokemon. So like you
Hmm.
have like your Tauros and Machamp. Each one had different purposes and whatnot. But the
Right.
Tauros was like your speed boost basically. So you go on the Tauros in that little enclosure and you just run around in circles and it just counts all these steps on there. So I was able to
Right.
get a shiny Litwick pretty quickly on that.
I don't know. It kind of threw me off too because I was expecting like how we had it in Omega Ruby, at least on the what is it, the Resort Isle or
Mm.
whatever it was. Because on that one, if you got to the point, you could like if you held the button down with like a pen or something,
Mm-hmm.
it would like do automatically like run around for you,
Right. Yeah.
and you didn't have to touch. You could literally like be hands free
Mm-hmm.
and hatch the eggs. So
Yeah. Wasn't
for
that
me, I
how it
feel like we
was in what was the big city in X and
X and
Y?
Y
Yeah,
Lumiose.
Lumiose. Yeah, in Lumiose you
Yeah,
could do
you
that
can do that in
too.
Lumiose. So I was like, okay, we got it in Lumiose, we got it in ORAS, and I was expecting the same thing to happen in Sun and Moon, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I felt like I kind of got cheated because now you have to do it, especially because you're in that enclosure. You're really like moving this slide pad a lot more on the 3DS.
Right.
And I believe in Sun and Moon, this is the first time you don't have you have no movement with the D-pad. It is all with the track with a little track. What is
Right.
it called? Is
It's
it the trackpad?
circle pad.
Circle pad.
Yeah.
You have to use the circle pad to move. There is no functionality with the D-pad,
Which was really weird too for like a Pokemon game, but
right?
I mean, I guess it makes sense almost, but like every other game like you could walk with a D-pad, right?
You
Like if
could,
I
yeah.
yeah.
Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, you can't move with the D-pad. It's
Yeah.
only with the circle pad,
Strange choices on their part. I
right?
don't know. But yeah, so another thing that we could get into are the SOS battles. So
Okay.
I think that you're more familiar with the SOS battles, aren't you? Because I'm not
Uh,
super familiar.
yes, of course I am. I am an expert on
Please,
all
please
things.
indulge.
So SOS battles were kind of like a gimmick that they introduced to kind of like bring like kind of because we had horde battles previously in X and Y and
Hmm.
ORAS. SOS kind of follows suit with that. Whereas in if you attack a Pokemon and you don't really you injure it, but you don't make it faint,
Hmm.
kill it.
Kill it.
Um,
Destroy the
it
child.
it'll call for help, which is I think is like a very nice thing because it's like very in character, and I'm really
Hmm.
sad it's not in other games because it
Yeah.
totally makes sense, right?
Hmm. Right.
Especially with like pack Pokemon,
Yeah.
where with like like the rodents like Rattata and Yungoos were like, hey, I
You.
need help, and there's like a chance of a Pokemon showing up,
Hmm. Yeah, because
and
I've done SOS battles a couple times and I've gotten a few
mhm.
shinies, or you have to do it in some cases to get like a certain rare Pokemon.
Right, because there are some spawns that are relegated to certain Pokemon.
Yep.
Like if
Marini.
you attack a if you attack a Corsola and Corsola starts screaming for help, a Marini will show up because in the Pokedex entry, Marinis eat Corsola,
Mm-hmm. God,
and
that's so
so a
brutal.
Marini's like, "Oh, free meal, I'm coming." And stuff like that. But yeah, and then also for like stronger Pokemon, they don't actually like call that any Pokemon that much, so it makes it
Mm-hmm.
that much harder to like find like a shiny version. But
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense because it's like why a strong Pokemon doesn't call for help, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually it will, and then
Yeah.
it'll call something in,
Yeah. Like
and
Bagon, you could possibly get a Salamence, right?
a Salamence, yeah,
Yeah.
which is pretty broken.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are hunting for that shiny Salamence. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
a guy throw away like 18 shiny Bagons looking for a shiny
Oh
Salamence.
my gosh.
But yeah, it is intriguing, and I do feel like it's a great shiny hunting mechanic. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done it in a while,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I
Cause
mean, I still have the DSs on,
yeah.
but I haven't done it in a while. I don't know. I have that's a personal matter I gotta attend to, but it's a great shiny hunting method.
Yeah.
I
Because
really
I think
enjoy
I
it.
did get a shiny Bagon through that method. I
Hmm.
think that was one of the few shinies that I actually ended up getting through that. Was the
Yeah, the
Bagon.
odds are pretty low. I mean, it's not like you're guaranteed. The odds are still like
Not good.
0.04%.
Yeah, it's still not good.
The only like whole percentage we've ever had is in Sword and Shield,
Uh
and
huh.
that's 2%.
Right. Right.
So it's not like it's not super broken, but it's just the rate of encounters and
Mm-hmm.
the rate of encounters and the way the method works is just more time efficient to do the SOS battles,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm kind of sad that they're not in other games because like I said, it makes sense. It's a great mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. Because unless there's anything else you want to bring up, I think we've gone over everything off of base Sun and Moon.
Well, I mean, we could go into like the main story, and then how it
This,
differs from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon when we
yeah,
get
because
there.
there are some
So
slight differences.
there
Again,
are, yeah, there are some slight differences. So like Alex alluded to earlier, Team Skull is not the evil team in this game. It is the Aether Foundation, which you're introduced to about halfway through the game.
hmm
Whose goal is to like, what is it, protect Pokemon from going extinct, or like, yeah,
yeah,
like protect Pokemon that are in danger.
preservation and all that.
Yeah, Pokemon preservation. And
Hmm
you meet with the leader of the Aether Foundation, Step
Lusamine,
on Me Mommy Lusamine.
blessed.
And Lusamine has a vested interest in finding Ultra Beasts,
Hmm
which is kind of alluded to more in the anime than is the game, that she lost her husband Mon, who just so happens to be the guy in charge of the Pokepelago,
hmm
um, to an ultra
Wait,
wormhole.
wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No?
God,
What the?
fucking.
What the?
What kind of co-host are you? What kind of research did
I
you
am
do?
the host. You're the
What kind of
co-host.
research? No,
You're the
fuck. Get
co-host.
out of here. End the call. This is my show now.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, the story is that Mon and Lusamine are married,
Yeah.
and Mon and Lusamine are experimenting with ultra wormholes, and Mon accidentally gets sucked up into one, but because of the
Mm.
nature of ultra wormholes, she assumes that Mon is pretty much God.
Oh.
Because he's been taken somewhere beyond their reach. So yeah, so he's gone, and Lusamine is left to raise her two children. Spoiler alert: Lily and Gladion,
hmm
who was served as kind of a rival. We didn't even talk about how, mainly because he's like a really fucking
Fucking
Sasuke ass,
edge lord.
edgelord ass. But yeah, like quick aside, how is like your happy is basically a car, is Hop. He's just like a
Yeah.
happy-go-lucky
Doesn't give a
kid,
shit. No
kid
character
with like a one
arc.
note story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
my
boring.
somebody in my family is stronger than me, something like that. Gladion, however, serves as a different character. He kind of teams up with Team Skull, but he's kind of just there in the sense to like cause havoc because
hmm
he's literally, a teenager,
Yeah.
and fighting back against his parents being his
hmm
mom.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
anyway,
I wouldn't want to fight against her. I mean, unless if she
right,
retaliates and, steps on me or something.
steps on you, yeah.
Yeah.
So Lucimi, when you first meet her, she's kind of hinted at to have like kind of like a kind of like something's off
hmm
because she's like really interested in the ultra beast that comes through, because at this point in time at least she doesn't have the ability to cause ultra wormholes to open. She just kind of like waits for one to open.
Yeah.
And so eventually she figures out how to find a way to open ultra wormholes at will, and that has to do with the Pokemon that Lily's been was trying to escape the Aether Foundation with in the opening cutscene, and a Pokemon you see multiple times throughout the story called Nebby,
Mm-hmm.
or its real name Cosmog.
Mm-hmm.
And Lily should be arrested for Pokemon endangerment because she puts that thing in the bag.
Suffocation. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
really.
suffocating this poor
It's a
little
gimmick,
cloud.
but it
Yeah,
comes off a little
I thought
morbid because
the meme
she's like,
potential was
get in the
just incredible.
bag.
The meme potential was incredible. The memes that came out of Nebby in the bag were great, and
Nebby in the bag.
they actually sold the gym bag on the Pokemon Center website, if I remember
Right.
correctly.
That was pretty fucking funny.
Incredible. I should have bought one. It was like
So,
$200 or something like that.
yeah, Lucamine comes to the conclusion that Nebby can force open ultra wormholes. However, it causes great pain to Cosmog,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually she uses Team Skull to steal that young goose to get you to go after it, so
Mm-hmm.
that Lily is by herself, and they end up kidnapping Lily. Well,
Mm-hmm.
kidnapping, she ran away from home.
Right. So they just brought her back.
So they brought her back,
Mm-hmm.
and Gladion freaks out because he understands what Lucamine is like, and that she's, not in her right mind after losing their dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so you, Hal, and Gladion, raid Aether Foundation headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like a little sidetrack thing. You fight one of her admins, and you get a little backstory onto another new Pokemon with Type Null,
Mm-hmm.
as well as like kind of the hints as to what happened with Mon.
Yeah.
And then eventually you go fight Lucamine,
Mm-hmm.
who's revealed to be full on psychopath because she's like in a room with like a bunch of frozen Pokemon,
Right. Yeah, they're
and
just
she's
like
talking about,
straight up cryogenically frozen.
right, like I'm saving them from the outside world, kind of going like
Like
overprotective mom thing.
literally becoming Walt Disney.
Yeah, and so you fight her, beat her, and then she's all like, haha, loser, what's up? And
Mm-hmm.
then causes an ultra wormhole to open, and then jumps in, and then Guzma, ya boy, has his
Mm-hmm.
own little thing where he's like, just pushes everybody out of the way and jumps
Uh-huh.
in after her.
Yeah. I mean, pure simpage right there,
Pure, yeah, true I mean, I would have done the same
I
thing.
mean, same.
If I could
It,
control my
yeah.
character in the cutscene, I would have jumped right in.
Oh yeah, trust me, I would have let her step on me like on the way into the wormhole. Just like use me as a
Right.
step.
And so this is kind of like the only time in a Pokemon game where you've had like a downtime where you're like, man, we let the bad guy win.
Yeah.
Or like the bad guy has won because either you guys are just left there and you guys are like, well, how the fuck are we gonna follow her?
Yeah.
And eventually it's revealed that by going to Pony Island, which is kind of like the least developed of the four islands,
Mm-hmm.
and it has kind of more of an attachment to like their tradition because, like I said, there's like one like real like civilization village on Pony
Mm-hmm.
Island.
Yeah.
And so you go there to meet the Kahuna, who is unfortunately passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to witness the pick of a new Kahuna in the character of what's her name?
Hapu.
Is it Hapu?
Hapu, I believe. Yeah.
Hapu is
HAPU.
literally a child.
Yeah.
Um, Become the Kahuna and
Mm-hmm.
battle her and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then you get access to Executor Island, which is pretty cool.
Oh my god, Executor Island was amazing. The fact that they brought the Alolan Executor, like that design back from 96 was so sick.
Right.
Like I talked about it in my tier list video, the first generation tier list, but I
Hmm.
like that was one of the coolest little callbacks that they've done in my opinion, like ever. And also they made it a dragon type too. I mean, granted now it's 4 times weak to ice, but grass
Right.
dragon, that's sick. Like
Right. So yeah, you go to Executor Island to pick up either the game specific, either the Sun or the Moon flute.
mhm.
I can't remember where you get the other flute from,
I
but either
think
way,
it's already at the altar of the sun or altar of the moon, isn't it?
okay.
I think. I don't.
So MacGuffin, it's just there. So you get the flute. You go to, well, I don't think it matters. Well, maybe it does. I think it matters in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, not in regular Sun and Moon.
Hmm.
You get your flute because every legendary Pokemon responds to a flute,
Yeah.
and you go to the Temple of the Sun or Temple of the Moon, which I believe is still on Pony Island. You go there with oh yeah, and Nebby is now a freaking like two like
2,000
infinitesimal,
pound
yeah,
pure of
infinitesimally
black
heavy thing.
mass.
Yeah, that Lily just fucking slugs around in a purse.
Mm-hmm.
And It's like a big character change for Lily after the
Yeah.
Lusamine event because
Kills
she
her Nebby.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Nebby gets like that, and like she comes to term with like her mom being crazy, and then she also like gets on better terms with her brother because I believe Gladian left. He wanted to take Lily, but Lily said no
I
and
don't think
stayed
I
with her
will.
mom. And then Gladian's like, I can't stay. She's fucking crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to come with me. But Lily was like so young, and she was just like still attached to her mother that she didn't want to leave. But after Gladian left, Lusamine became more unhinged and
Mm-hmm.
started trying to control Lily as much as she did, and that's Lily was eventually realized like, holy shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
At least when it came to the experiments on Nebby.
Yeah, exactly. But little
So
do we know that the mass that Nebby has become is actually another evolution. Was an evolution technically. So it
yeah,
went from Cosmog to Cosmoem.
Cosmo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they evolved, which was a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm. It was
Is definitely
strange.
it is interesting because it is the first legendary Pokemon that has not only split evolution, spoiler alert,
Mm-hmm.
but also evolves.
Yeah.
And so you travel to the temple of the altar of the moon or some whatever.
Mm-hmm.
On the way there, you do your last island challenge, which is against a was it
Komo.
Komodo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and get what that and get the Dragon Z crystal.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get there, you play the flute, and lo and behold, Cosmo evolves into your box legendary,
Mm-hmm.
either Solgaleo or Solgaleo or
Mm-hmm.
Lunala.
Mm-hmm.
I
Exact.
think you battle it. Do you battle
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. You battle it, and you, I think you catch it. Yeah, yeah, you catch it. Like they make you catch it, and the catch rate is just like it's like the other box legendaries in the past few games. It's just like it's almost an instant capture. So you could
Okay,
just
so in Sun and Moon,
yeah,
yeah, in base Sun and Moon, you battle it,
yeah, I believe so.
and then it takes once you do that, it takes you to Ultra Space, which is the space that Lusamine went off to.
Mm-hmm.
And in Sun and Moon, it's like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like really ominous and really dark. It's something that I didn't expect from Sun and Moon, really. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, the game after we got it was kind of like a roller coaster of
and
happy-go-lucky and like dark themes.
yeah, exactly. It really like teetered the line between
It
them.
had like crazy ups and downs. It's on one end you're like, oh, I'm at the the happy Pokemon preservation place. Holy shit, this lady's fucking
Yeah.
icing Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, hey, me and Lily are having this like super romantic moment on Executor Island.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, I'm in a dark, dank, fucking
Yeah.
alien cave in
Yeah.
between space.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, my best friend's mother is being possessed by an Ultra Beast.
Right, that
Yeah.
which leads us to go into that which so you get to Ultra Space, you talk to Guzma. Guzma's like, "Holy crap, I'm fucking freaked out because there's a bunch of strong ass alien Pokemon here."
Mm-hmm.
And then you travel to like the deepest part of Ultra Space where Lusamine's just sitting down
Mm-hmm.
and then gets possessed by a fucking Ultra Beast,
Yeah.
and we get like hentai bait fucking Lusamine because she's just like a tentacle mommy.
Really, her true form.
Her true form, yeah, it really threw me for a loop when I saw it because I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, are we really gonna beat the fuck out of this lady when she's with the Pokemon? But no, I think they realized that. I'm pretty sure they intended it that way, but then they realized what was going on, and they're like, holy shit, no, we got to change this all up.
Yeah.
And so
And
they made it a 6v6 battle,
because you
but each of
did
her
have
Pokemon are boosted.
experience with this certain Ultra Beast before, because it showed up through an Ultra Wormhole once or twice before, which is Nihilego. You
Yeah,
come to find out, which is a Psychic Rock type, which
Poison Rock.
or Poison Rock. Yeah, sorry, Poison Rock
Poison
type.
Rock.
Yeah.
Alex, the I don't do research guy. Poison Rock.
I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. I'm human, okay? What are you?
Bono,
What are you?
Bono,
What are you, an Ultra
Bono.
Beast?
Hang
Are you an
on, you're
Ultra
on my
Beast?
left. Alex, the no research version. Bono, the archive
This
Chad.
rat
Fucking
bastard over here.
the archive Chad.
Yeah, you're more.
Poison Rock. And you do a 6v6 battle with Lusamine with her Omni boosted shit Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's the same battle that you fought against her before. You don't actually fight a Nihilego, which probably would have been
Cooler.
you know,
You.
cooler. I think they changed that they might have changed that battle around a lot because I think maybe at one point they would have tried doing like giving her all the Ultra Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Oh,
just with the Ultra
that
Beast,
would have been shit, dude.
they would have been broken because if
Yeah.
you lose a Pokemon, you get fucked.
Yeah.
Because Ultra Beasts have the ability, the same ability as all of them, called Beast Boost. Essentially, if you beat a Pokemon, Beast Boost kicks in and it increases your stat, the whatever
Like the
stat you're really
best
good
stat.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Nihilego, I believe that's special attack.
Yeah, or like for like a
So
Pokemon like Kartana, it'd be its speed
I think
or
it's physical attack.
physical. Yeah. Yeah, something of the sort where
And so
yeah,
it's like, yeah, if that happens,
you're
you
done
basically get
for.
off like a free Swords Dance for being a Pokemon. And so then that goes into the next Pokemon. And if you knock out that one, then eventually you get to like your time 6, and there's nothing that you can do.
Mhm. Yeah,
So I
that's
think they might have switched that. They realized that too early on,
mhm.
and and switched that around. I mean, Ultra Beasts are broken, but they're not that hard, especially if you have an Ultra Beast. You
Mhm.
can kind of play around.
Sun
Well, yeah.
Ultra Moon.
So anyway, you
Yeah.
beat Lusamine, save her,
Yeah.
bring her back, and then
Right.
you go into the end game with
The very first
the elite.
Elite Four of the
Yeah,
Alola region,
of the elite
which was
region,
sick.
because which Kukui hinted at like kind of like partway through, because he's trying to
Yeah.
bring like the Pokemon League from like Kanto
Mhm.
and all the other regions to the Alola region, and kind of like trying to combine the old and the new with like
Mhm.
the island challenges in the Pokemon League.
Yeah.
So you weren't completely, robbed of a Pokemon League.
Mhm.
However, when you actually do the Elite Four, I believe most of them. I think in Sun and Moon they're all the Kahunas now.
Yeah, it's Hala. Yeah, Hala, Olivia, Acerola, and Kahili. Kahili
That's
is a
regular
different
Sun and
one.
Moon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's regular Sun and
Kahili's
Moon.
Kahili's a different one. Astral
Yeah.
is not the Kahuna.
Yeah.
I think Nanu is.
Then the champion is Kukui
Yeah.
himself.
Right, the kind of nepotism on their part,
Yeah.
really, because it's like, oh, hey, I invented hey, I speared the development of the Pokemon. Like, oh, I'll be champion, of
Mhm.
course.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I
Why
think that
not?
was really an excuse was for him to be the champion, you know.
All right.
Uh,
So two four, a half of the is just the Kahunas.
mm,
And so yeah, you beat Kukui in your final battle and become the first champion of the Alola region,
mm,
complete with throne and all, which I
yeah,
think was pretty funny because you could run up to it and sit down in it, and then
exactly. Does
and then
isn't that how it triggers the battle too?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it triggers it by you taking the throne because
But then there
immediately the
is a
haters are there.
yeah, the haters are there, and then I believe after that is um is when you get like the story dump of like what happened to Lusamine and what, because
Mm,
like yeah, she's like comatose after your fight.
yeah.
And so that's when Lily breaks your heart and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna go help my mom in Kanto and leave you behind." And
Mm.
that's when I realized women ain't shit, and started crying my eyes
The
out.
first time that got Bono got his heart broken.
Yeah, women ain't shit, and Lily sails away. And then like I think at the end of the credits, there's like a picture that the Rotom phone took between you, Hao, and Lily,
Mhm.
just to rub it in more. And I was like, women ain't shit.
Yeah, and she didn't even show up in Let's Go.
No, she didn't.
Come on,
But yeah,
that would have been funny to just like tie that together.
but that's how it does. The story of Sun and Moon ends.
Yeah,
You become champion. Lily leaves. Hao is still there. Just like,
unfortunately.
oh, let's be friends. And Gladian ends up running the Aether Foundation in the interim.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's just how it pretty much ends. But like I said,
yeah.
women ain't shit.
Women ain't shit. Women ain't
Women ain't
shit.
shit.
It's okay. You good, bro?
But all that was changed. Thank you. Wipe the slate clean. It's Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon time, baby. Pew, pew, pew,
Hey.
pew. So, first time in a while we've actually gotten like the complete version of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, instead of like, a s- you know, like you get it, like Emerald and Platinum and stuff like that. Because this is when did 2017? A year later?
Yeah, a year later. It was revealed on June 6th of 2017 and released November 17th. So it's only a 5 month turnaround from the announcement to
Oh,
the
but
release.
before we get into that, roll back. Post game for Sun and Moon has you go and catch the other Ultra Beasts, because there is a cutscene that they
Yes.
introduced after that. Initially, when Lusamine opens the Ultra Wormhole,
Mhm.
the other ultra wormholes open up on all of the islands, and Pokemon Ultra Beasts make their way through. And that
Mhm.
after that, the Aether Foundation tasks you with catching them or beating them and sending them back to Ultra Space.
Mhm.
So could you bring up the Ultra Beasts, please?
Yes, we will bring up the Ultra Beasts.
And we will go into our thoughts about the Ultra Beasts, and more importantly, my thoughts on the Ultra Beasts. Okay, so the tentacle monster Nihiligo that we've been talking about,
Mhm.
it's obviously I can't tell what was designed first, either it or Lily,
Mhm.
because obviously it's meant to be like a hint, like either yeah, like okay, because if it was designed first, then Lily,
Mhm.
because it's supposed to be hinted at that the way Lily is dressed up is to resemble Nihiligo, which is
Yeah.
kind of like Lucimine's going crazy shit.
Mhm.
And then we also have the next two, which I believe are
Buzzwole
Buzzwole
and Pheromosa.
and Pheromosa. Another two really cool things. You kind of get like the same thing with, I don't know if Pheromosa was designed first or Buzzwole or
Yeah.
Lucimine, because
Mhm.
she's kind of modeled herself after it.
Yeah.
And then we also have what, Circuitry,
Xurkitree, yes.
which looks like
Zerk.
Guzma.
Yeah. And this one I think was, at least when I was trying to battle the Ultra Beasts, I
Mhm.
had the most trouble with Xurkitree, I feel like.
Hmm.
I don't know. Xurkitree was just brutal to me. But
Your team might have been weak to grant our
electric
electricity.
probably, yeah.
And then you have a version exclusive Ultra Beasts with
Car-
Celesteela
and Kartana.
and Kartana.
Mhm.
And then the last one, which
Guz
was
Lord.
Guzzlord, yeah. So, before we dive into it, I do remember there being a theory at before the games came out where they were talking about, at least with Nihiligo and Nihiligo, Pheromosa, and Circuitry looking so much like the characters. A lot of people thought that those characters were actually just gonna be Ultra Beasts, and we were gonna get that alien storyline that was gonna be in X and Y.
Interesting. Yeah, that would have been sick. Like, I feel like
Which
that if
it,
they tied that together would have been really cool.
like you like spend all this time bonding with them, and at the end of it they're like, holy shit, hey, guess what, we're not actually people, we're aliens.
Oh my god.
But that would have been tight. But
Yeah.
ultimately what ended up happening is they are just Pokemon, but from a different
No,
realm.
they're Ultra Beasts, bro.
They're
They're Ultra
different
Beasts,
realm.
bro. They're not Pokemon, bro.
They're Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Which like I've been hinting at for like the longest time. I really like the fact that Deoxys was a Pokemon from space, because
Mhm.
it gave the Game Freak and Creatures Inc. like license to create Pokemon that would
Oh,
look crazy. Because I
more
mean,
out of
look
the
at these
ordinary.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
look at these
so
things.
strange.
They're so strange and out there, and it's like, holy shit, you just got free license to create like insane Pokemon, and then fucking Gen 4 rolls around, and guess what? Space ain't shit.
Space ain't shit.
So, eventually my dreams were realized in this game, where where they introduce, Ultra Space and, Pokemon from a different reality, because and stuff like that. So I was like, holy shit, great. Like my dreams have come true. We got how many in the first? We got in Sun and Moon. We got one, two, three, 4, 5, 6,
Let's see.
7. Yeah, 7 Ultra Beasts in the game, and
Mhm.
I was like, awesome. This is everything I've ever wanted, because they're weird,
Mhm.
they're super strong, and
It's
stuff
actually
like
a
that.
challenge.
It's actually a challenge, yeah, because I believe you have to catch like 3 Nihiligos, three. I
Three
think three of everything.
Xurkitrees. Yeah, it's like there's just so many of them.
Yeah, three of
Uh,
everything except for Guzzler. There's only one.
yeah. Guzzlord was
But
my favorite.
Guzzler's your favorite design wise?
Yeah, design wise and honestly type wise too. I like Guzzlord just overall.
Right, because
And
they do have
yeah.
types.
Hmm.
Being, even though they're all Pokemon from a different dimension, they do have types.
Yeah.
Guzzlord is Dragon Dark.
Hmm.
Cortana's Grass Steel. Celesteela, I believe, is Steel Flying. Circuitry's Pure Electric. Buzzwole and Pheromosa are both Bug Fighting, and then
Yeah.
Nihiligo is Rock Poison.
Yes, correct.
So, I mean, out of all these, Guzzlord's your favorite?
Yeah, easy. No question. Guzzlord's my favorite. Especially its cry in the Japanese anime is
Right. If I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably say Circuitry,
uh-huh.
even though it is just the thing of, wires.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think it is probably my favorite. But I,
it is pretty
I
cool.
love all the Ultra Beasts. I love their
Yeah.
story.
Hmm.
I love their design. I just love everything about them.
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
like I said, it's everything I've ever wanted from Pokemon. Because we have Pokemon, right? They're based
Mhm.
on real life animals. Either they're believable or whatnot. But now, like, the door is open. Like, we
Mhm.
can get Pokemon that we've never, like,
From
we've
different
never dreamed of.
yeah, from different
With and
dimensions, from
and we can also give the excuse to give like insane typings, like grass, fire, or
mhm.
water, and
Yeah.
electric,
Mhm.
ground, psychic, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Uh-huh.
The
So,
types we've seen before, but they could
yeah.
go like even
Mhm.
crazier, like steel,
Yeah.
fire, and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, there's some stuff where they could, like Fairy Dark even would
Right?
be. Wait, was Grimmsnarl Fairy Dark?
Grimmsnarl was very dark. Well,
Gotcha.
this is prior to that, but like I
Right,
said,
right, yeah.
the door has been open.
Yeah, but now it's like all hell's breaking loose.
Right now, the door is closed,
Mm-hmm.
but the door, at least for
Yeah,
a point in time, the door was
yeah.
open. And
Also,
so,
in
go ahead.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there were more.
There were more,
There were
which was
more.
great.
Yeah.
But as Ultra Beast as a like addition to this franchise
Awesome.
and to awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
fantastic. I
cool.
loved it.
So we'll go ahead, and after I've gushed over those, we'll move on to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So like we said
Yes.
before, the story beats in this game weren't too much different. They're
Mm-hmm.
mostly the same. However, they did introduce certain points that did change the story.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, they added the Ultra
Re-
Recon Squad,
Squad.
which served as like at least in term, because they were never like the enemy. They were
Mm-hmm.
never like Team Skull levels of villainy. They
No,
were
they
always
wanted to
just
just
like,
protect the world against Necrozma.
yeah. Well, they were, at least through the story, they've been interjected at certain points, and you get the feeling that they're just like exploring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're obviously dressed up super weird,
Yeah.
but like they're always like exploring the region, and like they even catch a couple Pokemon here,
Mm-hmm.
and like are just like, are always at certain points of the story just like checking in on you. At least until you get back to the point, like I said, with the with Lusamine and her doing her things with Nebby.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's the same up until that point. There are certain changes, like between going islands. They added a mini game called Mantine Surf
Yes.
and whatnot, but most of the story is the same. They do change around like some dialogue, but once you get to the Aether Foundation again to confront Lusamine about Nebby, things do change a little bit. At least her goals are still the same, except however she's looking to save Ultra Space without the help of the Ultra Recon Squad,
Mm-hmm.
because the Ultra Recon Squad, spoiler alert, are from Ultra Space,
Mm-hmm.
and they came here because Necrozma, or a Pokemon they said that has stolen the light or something like that. A Pokemon that they've kept contained for years is breaking containment, and they're afraid that if it, and they came to the Alola region specifically because they said that it's looking for a source of light, and that this is the closest one that they found, and that if it breaks out, it's going to devour the light of the Alola region, and they need a strong trainer to face it and put it back into its container.
Mm-hmm.
And so they met with Lusamine, who was studying Ultra Space, convinced her to help, and then she got like the savior complex, like, obviously because she was like, I'm saving the Pokemon, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, as she was before. Now she's going to be saving all of Ultra Space, and then also getting great power on the way there. So she still uses Nebby to open the wormhole, and she still goes into Ultra Space to fight Necrozma and stuff like, and that and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so you still have to go to Executor Island to find your game specific flute to, transform Nebby into either Sogaleo or Lunala.
Mm-hmm.
But the twist is that once you do that and you're ready to go to Ultra Space, an Ultra Wormhole rips open right above it, and then like black hands like rip it open, and that's when Necrozma comes in. It's a pretty brutal scene,
Yeah.
because then immediately your box legendary and Necrozma go into battle, and you're just like left there to like see it and just
Witness
like,
the
yeah,
carnage.
witness the carnage. And eventually Necrozma gets the upper hand on your legendary,
Mm-hmm.
and then basically like
Forces
fucking,
itself
yeah,
upon.
absorbs it,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then transforms into the new forms. If you could pull those up, the Necrozma forms of this
Let's
game,
see.
which is, I don't, do they have specific names?
It is.
It basically possesses the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
It possesses Galio and Lunala. My, I, They tried to make it look cooler on Lunala. I really wasn't a
Hmm.
big fan. I really love what like the Solgaleo one
Yeah,
because it basically looks like they gave it armor.
I have to agree on that one. I think I like Solgalio's, excuse me, a little bit more,
Hmm.
but Ultra Necrozma,
Yeah.
getting into that.
So you do battle the possessed Necrozma, and I believe it does break the connection between Solgaleo and Lunala.
Hmm.
And after that, it retreats back to Ultra Space, or at least back to the Ultra Metropolis, where back to where it came from.
Hmm.
And oh yeah, also Lusamine and Guzma get tossed out of the portal
Hmm.
before Necrozma pops out, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, it just changes up just a little bit right
It
there
changes
too.
it up a little bit because they like after they get tossed out, Lusamine's like run, like shit's crazy. Same
Hmm.
thing with Guzma. Guzma was like, oh, something bad's coming, and then the events proceed as we just described. So
Yeah.
eventually, after all that's done, you send Necrozma back. The Ultra Recon squad asks for your help. They're like, hey, we got our own Lunala Solgaleo to go back there,
Yep. So
and
you take
they
one of
take
those
you.
Pokemon through Ultra Space to get to the
Ultra Metropolis.
the Ultra Megalopolis.
Megalopolis, which kind of
Mhm.
serves as like I guess a point between dimensions because they live in ultra space, which kind of like leads you to other places or at least
Mhm.
other different realities. That's where it's contained. You can even like go up to some of the buildings and see there's like people like cowering in fear
Mhm.
because they're all afraid of Necrozma, and you have to travel to like the highest point. It's kind of like almost like a lighthouse where they had Necrozma trapped, and so you travel all your way up there, and eventually you fight Ultra Necrozma, which again
Is
is just like
awesome.
is a what is it? Omni boosted fight again. This thing is a legendary, so it has plus
Yeah.
600 stats, but
It's
it's at least
so brutal.
a 1v6 battle.
And
It is pretty brutal.
you can't use Ultra Necrozma at all, can you?
No,
Yeah, it's
once
not
it's
useful
gone,
at
it's gone.
all.
It's basically Eternatus Gigantamax.
Exactly. It's a shame.
So yeah, once it's you fight it, it's gone. But eventually you beat the thing, and you don't get to catch it.
Mhm.
It runs away again, little bitch,
Yeah, bitch.
little
I
bitch,
said bitch.
and it runs away.
Yeah.
But with Ultra Space saved, the Ultra Recon Squad thanks you, and because Lusamine doesn't get possessed by a Nihilego, that family is okay. Lusamine obviously realized what she did was wrong,
Mhm.
and the whole family dynamic is solved, even though they're
Yeah.
missing their father.
Right. But also
Um,
on your way to Mount Lanakila for the Pokemon League, you do encounter Necrozma one more time, and this is the time that you catch it.
last time.
The last time,
Last time.
the Necrozma's going down.
Crow's going down. So yeah, you do fight it on your way up there, and you do have the opportunity to catch it. I do think it's pretty awkward, a little broken. You get level what is it, 65
Yeah, it's
legendary before the Elite Four.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
that's
I
pretty
mean, with
insane. But who
that
uses legendaries?
right, that's always been the case. Yeah, so you catch it, you beat the Elite Four. I believe the Elite Four is changed this time. I think it is still Olivia Hapu, Olivia at Acerola, Hala, and I believe they swapped out the flying chick
Yeah,
for this
yeah. So it's a
Molane.
Mulane. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mulane, Olivia, Acerola, and Kahili. So no holla.
Oh, so they swapped no Hala. Okay.
No holla. Can't holla at
Really?
your
I
boy.
mean, they put Kahili in there.
But
Like,
How is now the champion.
yeah, how is the champion this
Fucking
time?
rat.
I mean, while you were off busy saving, millions of people in ultra space, how like a rat
Like a
took it
rat.
from you,
Yeah. He's
took
the
the
real rat
championship
over
from you,
here, honestly.
right?
Yeah. Forget
So
Bano. This is a rat.
everything plays out the same. You go up to the chair, and that's when
Mhm.
How shows up.
With his team.
I don't think he's the
Mhm.
champion. I think
Yeah.
he's just like you both finished the
Yeah.
challenge around the same time,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
so you guys are left to fight it out.
Hmm. But yeah,
Who
his
becomes
strongest is level
champion?
60, and you capture that level 65. That's insane.
65.
Yeah.
I do like how most of his Pokemon, aside from the evolution, are from his island. Like
Yeah.
with Crabominable, Noivern.
Hmm.
The Tauros is the ride Pokemon, but you can catch it on Akala Island.
Hmm.
And then the the evolutions kind of throws me off, especially the fact that it's not the evolution trio we know, because he's got
Yeah.
Flareon, Vaporeon, and then he's got Leafeon.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also Alolan Raichu. My
Mhm.
bad. It
Yeah.
comes from Melee Melee Island.
Right. And yeah, because the evolution that he has is weak to the starter that he has.
Hmm.
So it's like Vaporeon is weak to Decidueye and so
Right,
on.
because this is one of the generations where they started the or no, that was in Gen 6, but you battled
Yeah.
Shauna like maybe twice.
Yeah.
Where the rival picks the Pokemon that's
Weak
weaker
to
to your
yeah.
starter.
Right, exactly. That was so strange too. I don't know why they chose that. Like, wouldn't you
Right.
want the rival to have the upper hand? But they're
Right.
like,
And so
no,
like
it's too hard. The kids they can't beat the rival.
right,
Oh
so the ending of
baby.
this game plays out a little bit differently. You do become champion.
Mm-hmm.
Lily doesn't, get shipped off to Kanto to take care of her sick mom,
For a
and
second, I thought you were gonna say shipped off to Canada.
shipped off to Canada. No, ships. They stay in the Alola region. Almost complete family. Lucamine's gonna work with the Ultra Recon Squad
Mm-hmm.
to try to find her husband and reunite her family.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get to spend like the ending scene with Lily and Hal, and I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
she
About
didn't leave
time.
me, but yeah,
Closure.
she didn't leave me. Maybe women aren't just shit, you know.
Yeah. Maybe they
Maybe
ain't.
maybe I was too hasty.
Yeah. Maybe you were just too much in that incel mindset to
Maybe
realize
I was too
it
hasty.
was for the best.
Sun and Moon, never heard of it.
Yeah. Sun and
But
Moon who?
yeah, Sun and Moon. But yeah, it ends the same.
Mm-hmm.
You do, however, the post game story with the
However.
Ultra Beast changed. However, yeah, the post game hunt for the Ultra
Yeah.
Beasts does
Yeah.
change because
Mm-hmm.
they have like this side story with Looker
Mm-hmm.
and Annabelle, who is later after you do a couple missions, spoiler, is revealed to be the Battle Frontier lady from a different dimension. But yeah, you
Yeah.
do get there are new Ultra Beasts on top of the
So.
ones you do find already because
Mm-hmm.
Ultra Space in at least in this one you're exploring it. They're not coming to you, you're going to them. At least with the seven we known before.
Mm-hmm.
You get to travel to there where they're at.
Yeah.
As Alex already has it up, you do get introduced to the new one, Poiple, which what are your thoughts on Poiple and
Naganadel.
Naganadel?
I did not. Uh, did I get that one? Yeah, yeah, Naganadel. I just wanted to make sure because there's a lot of pronunciation issues with that one. But
Hmm.
yeah, Poiple was all right. I did find Naganadel a little bit more enjoyable, but even then, I didn't care for it as much as the other Ultra Beasts, honestly.
Hmm.
And the other Ultra Beasts that they've shown that are new, we haven't talked about them yet. I didn't care for them either as much as like the original Ultra Beasts.
I
But
would have preferred if they kept Poiple and Naganadel
mhm.
separate. Maybe give Poiple
Yeah,
or Naganadel like a different color scheme,
yeah,
because I would have loved for Poiple to be the Ultra Beast mythical.
that would have been sick. Oh, they
like
should
like
have done that.
like a Mew or like a Celebi, but
That
Poiple
would
is
have
like
been cool.
the mythical Ultra Beast.
God, like
Maybe make it like Psychic Poison,
they should have done that. Like
right?
that would have actually been
In
cool.
my head canon, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Naganadel is a separate Ultra Beast,
I'm sold on that, dude. I'm sold on that. Like,
right?
yeah,
Because like it could have been like an unassuming Pokemon. They're like, oh, like this is like the weakest of like the Ultra Beasts we've encountered,
but
and then
it's the most useful.
yeah, and then you like travel around with it, and then like eventually like something happens post game, whatever, unlocks its true potential, and it
Mm-hmm.
becomes like one of the strongest. Or
Right.
like you take it to Ultra Space with you, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's not even in your party. It's kind of just like follows you,
Yeah.
and you go to like all the places like with Nihilego and Bustle, and like as soon as it like pops up, they like just bolt. Like you have to chase after the Ultra Beast because they
Right.
realize, holy shit, that's Poiple.
Yeah. Oh.
And so yeah, like I said, you travel to the different things in Ultra Space. There's like a whole mini game with it. I mean, there's two ways to play it. There's the motion control one, and then
Garbage.
there's the one with the D-pad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need to change it to the one with the circle
That's
pad because the motion
requiring.
control one is absolutely garbage.
Motion controls are poo poo.
You're never gonna find any of the rare stuff because it is dependent on how like the mini game you're basically traveling like through a tube and like
Yeah.
collecting rings as you go along. And the more rings you get and the farther you go,
It
the
determines
uh
what
the
kind of Pokemon you get.
yeah, the rarer
Mm-hmm.
the spawn is.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's pretty much how you get to these Ultra Beasts over here. They have their own domains now instead
Or
of.
their own separate realities that they live
Yeah,
in.
exactly. And so you can see over here as I'm scrolling through, like what they're kind of looking like. You'll have like the trees with the vines for Buzzwole. You
Yeah,
have
they're all like buff trees.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
as
everything
they're
looks really cool.
yeah, like the space they live in are like are so freaking
Awesome.
cool. Like the
My
circuitry one, you see like circuitries like running around in the
yeah.
background, and then like so you see have it on Celestial, like there's a bunch of craters from ones where like other Celestials have like
That's
rocketed
cool.
off into space.
Right? Exactly.
There's even the cooler stuff with Cartana where there's like actual people there speaking like some alien language that you don't understand, but they just battle you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
And
also
then
freaking Guzzlords was my favorite because it's like a dystopian version of Howley City. It's like you could tell because like the signs and stuff are just like the signs are the same where it's like the shows the description of the city and all that. But
it's
I
also the plays the theme backwards.
yeah, exactly. It's just so dystopian. It almost reminds me because I was when I was researching for this episode, I actually
Alex
did
the
some
research guy.
research. You fuck.
Alex the research guy.
I did
Go ahead.
some research, selective research, mind you, but I did do some
Hmm.
research. So people in Reddit comments were talking about, or at least comparing Guzzlord to the unspeakable horrors of a like H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff, where they're just like these beasts that could consume worlds and like other
Hmm.
demonic shit. And it actually like it kind of actually piqued my interest right now into reading into Lovecraft because I love Guzzlord's design so much that now
Hmm.
I'm just enamored by like the whole like Lovecraft lore. Like I want to go down that rabbit hole because of this.
Hmm.
It's just so cool to me.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I said, every ultra space thing is like super cool.
Yeah.
Especially and it's every like I said, it's what I wanted before and more because now like you're introduced to all these separate realities. So like, what else exists on planet Buff with with Buzzsaw and all that stuff,
Hmm.
or Crater City with Celesteela, or the Electric Domain of the
Yeah.
circuitry. Like what other
Yeah.
Pokemon exist there,
What kind of deformed
or what
nuclear
other Ultra Beasts or
holocausted
whatever
ass Pokemon are
whatever
on
you want
the
to call them.
reverse Howley City? Like what is there now?
Yeah,
Or
what is there? What
yeah.
Pokemon have survived, or
Yeah.
what Pokemon have,
Yeah,
or
what
have
how
they
they mutated.
yeah, how they mutated to accommodate living in a
Hmm.
world with Guzzlord.
Yeah, or are they just suffering?
Right, and then there are two other Pokemon. However, we don't get to see their domain. They come
Yeah,
to
they just
Alola,
yeah.
which are
Stack attack
Blacephalon
and
and
stack attack,
Stakataka. Out
which
of the two of them, I gotta say Blacephalon.
same. Yeah,
But
Ghost Fire. It's kind of
right,
cool.
right.
Yeah, but other than
But
that,
also its head explodes. So
yeah,
the little balloon thing is actually its head, and
it's a
it actually
bomb.
like plays with it. Yeah, like jumps it up and down. But it
Hmm.
also like the move it explodes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But Stack Attacka, that was what type was that again? It was Rock
Rock Steel.
Steel. Yeah, but it just looks like something that was made in Minecraft.
I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's not hateable. It's just not
I
as
just think
interesting.
it's a to if it would probably would have sold it more to people is if like instead of like it staying in that form or
Mhm.
whatever, it constantly changes.
To like, I think like some kind of like rock golem would be cool, like a Golurk kind of looking thing.
Not necessarily giving it like different forms, but like every
Yeah.
time you like hit it,
Uh
like
huh.
it would like crumble to a pile of bricks,
Oh,
and then it would like
interesting.
rebuild itself into something different,
That would be cool. Yeah,
right?
almost like a form change in a way.
Kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
maybe
really. I would
maybe it
say
could
not
like
really.
change its composition of stats possibly if it's just like it falls apart, it builds itself up as like more like an attack thing, and it changes its
True. They could have
like a
done that,
Zen
but I feel
mode
like
kind of thing.
that would have taken them way too long. But
Yeah,
yeah, we're talking about our dreams here, hopes
yeah,
and dreams.
exactly.
Hopes
Things
and
that'll
dreams
never
here on the
happen.
Pokemon Battlers podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
We've
I
been definitely
am.
babbling, that's for sure.
We definitely have. But yeah, like I said, Naganadel is some giant mosquito. I don't. Is it on here,
Oh,
or is it
Naganadel
or is
is
it
not on
Poipole?
here because you don't encounter it normally. You could only get it by evolving your Poipole. So let
Right?
me bring it up. Naganadel,
Yeah,
which is
giant mosquito.
yeah, with a big old stinger.
Like I said, really wish they should have just, it could have been something else. Could have been bug poison. Well, I mean, poison dragon's not that bad
Mm-hmm.
of a typing, but I
Yeah,
just wish it didn't have the connection to Poipole.
exactly. Yeah, but I mean, what are you gonna do? That's just
But
how they
I
decided it.
mean, I could just become God and make my own rules. But
I
whatever.
mean, Masuda just left Game Freak. Like,
Right.
there's hope.
Right. But yeah, I love everything about the Ultra Beasts. The Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon just added
Hmm.
more of what I wanted from Pokemon with going the Ultra Space, encountering these things. I
Yeah.
just want more. I really
Hmm.
want them to explore Ultra Beasts and Ultra Space as a concept moving
Hmm.
forward. Even
I
if it's
agree.
just to like find that mythical or the legendary you have to go out of your way from. Like, give me the Zapdos, give me the
Mhm.
Articuno. Just
Yeah.
have the portal open up and make me do like some mini puzzle to find an Ultra Beast or something like that.
Yeah, put me through the ringer instead of just showing it at like the Dynamax adventures. Like, give me
Yeah,
some like exploration or its own domain, like they did with these Ultra Beasts in here. Like that
yeah.
was so
Just
sick.
have it open, or or like open up or something like that, or like in a cave, like you have to go somewhere and they just have like the portal, or like this like a stack of bricks and you touch it and the fucking portal opens up and you go through.
Yeah, that would be cool, but again, it's just
Right.
hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams
Yeah.
here.
So, overall, so we have to give different ratings for Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, right?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Sun and Moon base, what is your rating of it?
Uh, the first number that popped up in my head was a 6.
Hmm.
A 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I would probably have to
It
say a 7.
it's above average. I don't think it's that above average. I mean, granted, they did try something completely new, and it did overall well. It ticks off a lot of the regular boxes for me of what a Pokemon game is. It just for regular Sun and Moon, it didn't go above and beyond. It was if for being ambitious, it wasn't too ambitious.
Hmm.
I'll
Yeah,
say that.
yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun, and I liked it way more than X and Y. But
Hmm.
you could tell that they want to branch out and they want to be more ambitious. I feel like that Sun and Moon, like they played it a little bit more bare bones on this one. I have a feeling that they kind of knew that they want to do Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so they didn't want to put everything into one game, just so they could kind of like max those sales out, I guess.
Right.
But Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, what'd you think about those ones?
8 out of 10.
Yeah, those ones I'd probably have to agree like 8. Yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10 as well. I have to agree on that one. Yeah,
It it
they flesh
it
it
did
out a lot
everything.
better.
Yeah, it did everything Sun and Moon did, on top of adding its own spin and making it itself its own thing.
Hmm.
Add, like I said, yeah, it added its own stuff. It like I said, the Ultra Beast stuff just won me over so much more. The Necrozma line makes way more. The Necrozma story is like way better than what we got.
Yeah.
I'll always miss Nihilego Fusion Lusamine. Kind of
Oh.
felt like Pokemon just lost their marbles on that one.
Yeah, that
But
was just batshit.
the Ultra Recon story kind of like brings it back down to earth and makes it
Hmm.
a little more fun. I
Yeah.
mean, there are some stuff that you can't get over, like how Team Skull is just the gimmick bad guy just for the sake of being bad guy.
Hmm.
The Aether Foundation is the Aether Foundation.
Yeah.
There is no like overall change. There are different Pokemon that are able to be catched. They did add more Pokemon to like that you could encounter. Like I'm trying to remember. I think they added like Inkay in like one of the first routes
Yeah.
and Zorua at the Pokemon Trainer School. Like there are more Pokemon to catch and more Pokemon to use, which is always great
Hmm.
because it definitely gives you like a different adventure. Because it wasn't like, oh, well, I'm just gonna catch the same Pokemon I used in Sun and Moon now. Now you
Hmm.
have access to different Pokemon, which
Yeah.
also meant more Pokemon for shiny hunting,
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's really all we're here for, right?
right?
Yeah.
And they also, like I said, they added Ultra Beast. There's more post game content. And it's
Yeah.
hard to say because it's literally just like the version they wanted to make.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the time to make it.
Yeah, exactly. And so for those that haven't played either game, I mean, don't even honestly, you don't really need to bother with regular Sun and Moon because Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, like they're very identical on the games themselves, but you'll
Right.
get more out of the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon if you just start with those. Like
Hmm.
unless you really want tentacle mommy Lusamine, then you don't need to worry too much about a
Yeah.
base Sun and
If you
Moon.
really just want the experience, I would
Yeah.
just, if you
Yeah.
had to buy one, I'd just say buy
Yeah.
either Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and get them now because the prices are still normal. So when
Right.
the eShop goes down, those things are gonna spike up. So, is there anything else that you want to mention about any of the
More
Generation
Ultra
7 games?
Beasts.
More Ultra Beasts! More
More
Ultra
Ultra Beasts.
Wormhole anything,
More
please.
more Ultra Beasts. Bring back SOS battles, you cowards.
Cowards, you wouldn't. Bish you
I
won't.
want SOS. I want hordes because those make shiny hunting easier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean there were mega evolutions in this game. They just didn't add any new ones, which was
Yeah.
kind of the writing on the
I mean,
wall. Like,
yeah.
fuck
I
you
mean,
guys.
I was happy that they added the Mega Evolutions, but Yeah, like you said, it stagnated. Like they're not gonna do any more since they didn't
Right.
introduce any.
I
But
mean, I would have been cool with like whatever. I don't know. What Pokemon do you think they would have Mega Evolved or gave Mega Evolution? Like from the
ooh,
Alola Dex.
from the Alola Dex, I guess we were saved that they didn't do Mega Evolved Bruxish. But I mean, since they put so, I mean, not because of my personal bias, but I feel like that since they put so much advertising into Lycanroc, I feel like that they probably would have done a Mega Lycanroc, like Mega Lycanroc, or maybe
I'm
Mega
thinking that
Mudsdale.
with
Mega Mudsdale would probably make sense.
I'm thinking because it's in the game, they might have done like Mega
Como,
Zoroark.
yeah, Mega Zoroark would have been so cool. Yeah, or Mega Como.
Mega Como. I feel like that one was like a gimme.
Mhm. Yeah, because they
Maybe
did.
Mega Vikavolt.
Yeah, that would make sense totally. Or
Mega Wishy Washy, maybe.
that I feel like that it pretty much is Mega evolved at that point when it gets in its full form.
Mm,
Uh, Mega. Well, no, they did Ultra Necrozma, so I guess it's almost like the same. But
right.
yeah, but yeah. Anyways, so I think that's pretty much it then, unless we
What would you
actually
think
get
about
into. Oh, never mind.
a regional form Mega, like Mega Alola Marowak?
Mega Alolan Marowak, that's a fucking mouthful. I would not be opposed. I would not be
Right.
opposed, but I feel like they'd be adding too much on top of just introducing it already again, like
Mega
reintroducing
Beware.
Marowak. Yeah, Mega Beware would be kind of funny. But
Mega Serena with
yeah.
complete with feet.
Oh, just like actual human feet.
Just feet.
And nothing's different. It just has big ass feet.
Yep.
I would totally take that, dude. That'd be so funny.
But yeah, there is definitely lost potential in that. I
Yeah.
feel like out of the 81 new Pokemon, they probably could have gave like a couple of them
Yeah, Mega
Megas.
Lurantis or something
And
like
then
that.
probably, like I said, with the newer Pokemon, because there are a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon added to
Hmm.
this game, give them forms like Mega LGM, Mega Zoroark,
Yeah,
Mega Minchino, or something like that.
exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they could have done, but unfortunately, since they decide that they hate us, they got rid of the Mega Evolutions. Maybe
Right.
Gen 9. Maybe we could pray Gen 9. I can't imagine it happening, but let's pray.
I think I asked you before,
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the Sword and Shield episode. Do you like the newer Pokemon more, or do you like the Alolan forms more?
There's some that I like more, but then there's some that I don't. Like, Alolan Raticate is dog shit. Alolan Persian's dog
And
shit.
you Faticate?
Yeah, Faticate, I'm not fan of. I really like Alolan Executor more than the original. I like Alolan Marowak more than the original. But yeah, there's like it's just dependent. Like everything just depends on like which one it is, I guess. But what about
Hmm.
you?
I like the Alolan forms more than the regular Pokemon.
Wow, I mean, coming from you, that's kind of a hot take, isn't it?
Not really,
Yeah,
because they're all Gen 1 Pokemon.
yeah, that's
But
fair. Yeah,
I'm trying to find the Alolan form cat section on Cerebi real quick because I wanted to say what's your favorite Alolan Pokemon, and then what's your favorite Alolan form Pokemon?
favorite Alolan Pokemon or favorite Alolan form Pokemon? Well,
I'd say for Alolan Pokemon, my favorite is Vikavolt.
well, I mean, for me, I mean, I think it kind of goes without saying, but Lycanroc kind of ended up being my favorite.
Hmm.
Let me see what else is on here. I just want to make sure. Araquanid is one of my favorites too. I really, really liked Araquanid. Also, we didn't go over any of the Tapus, and we
I
didn't go
mean,
over the
because
fact that Silvally, the evolved form of Type Null, is a legendary. Is
that's
a
true.
straight up technically a legendary.
The Tapus are
Yeah.
kind of just like a one trick pony though, because they
Yeah, I
show
don't
up at
care
one
about the
point.
Tapus.
They show up in one point in the story, but they don't even talk about them that much. I mean,
Yeah.
sure they reference the Guardians and all that stuff, but like they never played like a prominent role in your adventure.
Hmm.
And like I said, they're just I mean, even Tapu Bulu is like you have to go out of your way to find that son of a bitch.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
so
they're all fairy type. The what is it? Water, electric, grass,
psychic.
and
Or
psychic. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'd probably have to say between Lycanroc and Araquanid. But I mean, of course, you gotta have Rockruff Bunky represent always. Gotta have it represent. But in terms of Alolan forms, I would probably say I'd probably have to say Executor is my favorite of the
Is
Alolan
it
ones.
guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I used Muck. I used Alolan Muck, and I was shocked on how good it was. That thing was a monster. It was so
Yeah.
great.
It is pretty
Yeah.
good, especially once its psychic type is like, you know,
Mhm.
or its
Yeah.
psychic weaknesses dealt with.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's
my favorite is
unstoppable.
Raichu,
Yeah,
and I
I
will
think that would
always
be that's on brand, I think.
I would always hate them for not changing Pichu and Pikachu to coincide with Alolan
Hmm.
Raichu.
Yeah.
I would have adored a fucking orange Pikachu or an
Uh-huh.
orange or like a, you
Yeah,
know, the color it is.
exactly. Or like a Pikachu with instead of like a surfboard, it has like water wings or something like that.
Right.
Or like a life raft.
So yeah, there just could have been so, like with its tail, it could have been there could have
Yeah.
been so much done
Yeah, exactly.
that they didn't
Uh
do it. Like I said,
Duck Trio is
till I'm
beautiful.
till I'll die, you know. If you're gonna give a form to the line, give it to all of them.
Hmm.
I mean, look
Yeah.
at Rattata, Vulpix, Sandshrew, Diglett, the Geodude
Meowth,
line,
Geodude, Grimer.
Grimer,
Yeah.
yeah,
But they didn't do it for Execute, Marowak.
or
Uh
Execute Cubone,
or, yeah. Yeah,
or
Execute,
Pichu and
Cubone. Or,
Pikachu.
yeah, exactly. Cowards.
Right? Imagine like just a bunch of coconut executes
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
or like a Cubone, but its little bone is like a torch.
Hmm. Yeah, that would. Oh,
And then, like
man.
you said, with like all the gimmicks with the Pikachu line,
Did they
just like a
not go
light.
over these like in their board meetings? Like, okay, we need to have Alolan forms on here. What are your
They're
ideas?
there. The
Yeah.
designs have to be there.
Yeah,
You know,
there's no way
eventually
they
when I'm old and
couldn't.
gray and I lead my assault on Game Freak HQ
Hmm.
to release the designs,
Yeah.
you know, I'll release them to the public.
I swear that needs to happen.
But yeah, other than that, I'd say Sun and Moon was a nice
Yeah.
Gen 7. I mean, it wasn't that big. It didn't last that long.
Yeah.
Was it 3 years, 2016 to 2019?
Hmm. Yeah,
But
it was a good change of pace though.
it was Sun and Moon was a nice stop on the way to Gen 8.
Hmm.
Honestly, I'd probably rank it better than Gen 8.
Um, I think I might have to agree. I think I have to agree on that one. Even though
Yeah,
I love the Crown Tundra, that was a DLC. That wasn't like
right.
extra on
That
there.
wasn't the game.
I would have been satisfied with just Sun and Moon. I mean,
Hmm.
granted, if you think about it, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are almost like DLC in a way. If you're paying $40 for like just some extra stuff on there.
Right.
But it still was like if you just gave me Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that would have been easy. I mean, easy, no question. But base Sun and Moon is even better than base Sword and Shield.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'd have to say I like 7 more than 8.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think we could safely wrap it up here.
Gen
Yeah.
7 better than Gen 8. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What do
Exactly.
you think? Are we insane or do we have a point?
I think we have a point, but also we're the
If
ones talking.
Yeah, if we were gonna do a debate, I can't think. Would it have to be base versus base, or would it have to be the complete package? Would it be Ultra Sun and
Ah,
Ultra Moon
those would be
versus
totally
Sword
different
and
things.
Shield plus the path?
Those would be totally. I feel like that you'd have to like separate those, like have like the first part is like base versus base, and then complete versus complete. I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know how we'd go about that if we were to do that.
I would say if we're doing complete versus complete, I'd still say Sun and Moon are better.
I'd have to agree. I'd say Sun and Moon still. Although if it was just like the extra stuff they added on Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon versus like the DLC of Sword and Shield, I might have to go with the DLC part of
The
it.
DLC is probably better. Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, like my
Complete
experience was
experience.
yeah, complete
Yeah.
experience. Gen 7 over Gen 8. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can get more updates on what we're doing next. Check us out on Twitch as well, where we'll play whatever games. I'm still in the middle of my ribbon challenge right now, which I barely even gotten started.
Hmm.
Also, shout out to our buddy MrJoelyOly who did the artwork for the thumbnails. So
Thank you for the picture.
blessed Joel, he's incredible. I love it. I love it. And so yeah, we'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Peace.
See ya.